very much for joining. At some point, we'll try to figure out how to let Scott see who his friends from afar are on the Zoom. But we're going to celebrate Dr. Mubarak's illustrious career, and he may be partially departing our conference schedule, but he is not departing, okay? Earlier this morning, John tried to set him off. Anyway, Scott, before we get started, there is a group from the operating room here, and Sheila Mappa would like to present to you a special gift in Hawaiian tradition for those who are retiring. So if you come up here, Sheila has something for you.
The Hawaiian tea leaf represents healing and protection. And as you transition into your new life, return, may this tea leaf provide you with protection and healing and many blessings.
Next up on our program, Dr. Wenger is going to give a little summary of Dr. Mubarak's life. And Dr. Wenger was Scott's first recruit, and the two of them obviously have been quite a team and built a program together that has really been spectacular and the benefit to all of us. So Dr. Wenger, if you would please come up and share Dr. Mubarak's story.
Thank you very much, everyone here, and also those out in the countryside. I've been working with Scott Mubarak for 37 years, and it's really an honor for me to actually be here and say a little bit about him and my views as the Scott Mubarak persona. I was going to say persona, and last night I had to look up and see what it meant. It doesn't mean that. This shows the love of gathering your pictures, because I've just been gathering pictures for my family. And I see these little shadows at the bottom. So everybody's like, what are those? And that's the person leaning over with their iPhone, forgetting they're getting shadows from above. But these are the best pictures, so always use the one that your iPhone has spotted out of it. This is his mother from Wisconsin, who was a nurse of German extraction. His father, here in the military, who was the son of Lebanese immigrants, and raised their son to be a famous doctor. So here they are in their energetic beginning. After his military service, and Scott, I think, was born perhaps off on one of the military stations, his father, who was a GP, took a position in Toma, which is a small town in the center of Wisconsin. Classic Main Street, USA. The only doctor in town. He did surgery, he set fractures, he did all of the work that a GP would do, but also had an energy. I call it the sort of Lebanese corporate immigrant energy, because he also had other businesses, which I'll tell you about. So there were 4 Mubaraks, and I'm almost certain that the alpha male in the center in the back, the particularly handsome one, is our Scott. Is that right?
No, he's the right.
Oh, he's the one on the right. So you were one in line.
Number 1.
You were number 1 on the right, but you were taller than him, but were sitting.
I'm sitting there somewhere.
Okay, great. Well, I didn't know that. I knew there was an alpha male in there somewhere. Some pattern demonstrates that. So, more businesses, which we'll talk about in a bit. His parents invested in cranberry logs, and they still have that and run this in their family. So it's good to have a side business as far as your medicine, so you didn't get too stressed out while you're working. I don't know which of these counties. Which cranberry county did you live in?
Monroe, which is,
okay.
But the cranberry marsh was not right there.
I see. Anyhow, I thought that was very innovative. This is important. His father was college educated. He went, before he went to medical school at Marquette, he went to the College of Worcester in Ohio, which is where I went. Scott then attended Ripon College in Wisconsin and got a liberal arts degree, a Master of Arts. So later on, his interest in writing and culture and travel in the South Pacific or sort of predicted. And I guess I would say if you were a doctor, have your kid get a BA, not a BS. There's plenty of BS going on. He then went to medical school at the University of Wisconsin, where he met his wife Sandy, who was also a nurse. So his dad was a doctor, his wife a nurse, and then Scott married a nurse. And they had been married for many years. I couldn't find an earlier picture of them. And this possibly projects another wisdom of medical practice, and that is don't change wives too often. It gets quite expensive. And the best rate is provided for those who make 0 changes. He decided to head west, as many Midwesterners did at a certain time in their career. He came to the UCSD Medical Center. This is Hillcrest Medical Center, a more recent picture. With those triangular bars over the windows. Probably should have had more of them in Miami. That was a recent change, so this is a relatively new picture. And he studied there under Professor Wayne Akison, who had just been hired to come here from Seattle to be the first professor of a new orthopedic division there under Marshall Orloff, the founder of the general surgery program. Akison was completely research-oriented, looking for a faculty that would publish and put the place on the map. But at that time, they were not on the map. Scott actually did his internship at the Mercy Hospital, which was probably good. The best surgeons were there, all the different rotations and all the specialties. He gained a broad knowledge. Following a very successful residency, he went to the most important, and might I add, best children's orthopedic fellowship in the world at that time, to study in Toronto with John Hall, Bob Salter, and the other people who were there. But his mentor, in the end, is the last one of the old war horses living, and was the brightest, best surgeon of them all, Norris Carroll. Wonderful, wonderful surgeon who put Scott on the right track of making a career in children's orthopedics. He came back, went on the full-time faculty at UCSD, did important research work, which you're aware of, in many, many areas, particularly working with Dr. Harkins and Dr. Garfin on compartment syndromes. So had important research was getting published. Dr. Sutherland was then hired as one of the first faculty by Dr. Akison to join his UCSD faculty, and he came here from San Francisco, where he had helped found the motion analysis laboratory movement after working with aircraft engineers from Lockheed using this wonderful new thing called a computer to study human gait. Sutherland worked both at Children's and here, but was a full professor there. And Scott initially was in this role, kind of moving back and forth. But then the radical idea comes in. Scott decided rather than being a full-time UCSD faculty, he would come here to Children's Hospital and set up a private practice in children's orthopedics in this great academic center founded by theoreticians at UCSD. This was a bold move, a brave move, and one that took a lot of courage and self-confidence to be sure that it would work. Subsequently, this has become a very important national model. These big orthopedic groups in Austin, St. Petersburg, many other areas, where people combine academics and private practice. He became a very good teacher, well-liked by his patients, always smiled, had good stories to tell them. They don't always necessarily know what is true or not, but as long as you smile, they work. Did very innovative work, the first in the world to know that you could surgically treat a growth plate closure in a traumatized young gorilla that fell off one of the stones at the zoo and broke his femur through the physis. Mother had to be put to sleep, of course for the operation, but also every cast change subsequently, because she would kill you if she touched her child. And there's the baby, supposedly the first gorilla in a hip spica cast. That gorilla has survived, is in the zoo at LA, and now has babies and has normal length femurs. So, an amazing sort of innovative idea. I came here in 1984. We had already worked on a fellowship in Dallas. We put our energies together and decided we now have a big enough team, we should have a fellowship here, and that has grown. We tried to have an energy of having fun while you're teaching. And this is Al Crawford, one of our visiting professors. And is Scott enjoying himself there? I think so. In any case, this happiness, wherever he appears, is a feature. This is 1985, when we invited Cottrell and Dubussé, the inventors of the new spinal instrumentation system, to come here and do the first case on the West Coast of spinal instrumentation with their French method. His research is remarkably varied. This was in 1979, new faculty member, New England Journal of Medicine. Orthopedic surgeons hit it big time. The new professors, I'm sure, over at UCSD thought we have a permanent full-time research faculty. We're going to really be famous quick. But then Scott showed his extreme breadth, his tendency to not really want to be a complete academic nerd, but to sort of be a normal person that knew a lot about research, but also a lot about other subjects. And so there he is. This is called lowbrow research in my time. And so this one suddenly appears. And he always got an artist to, as he said, to demonstrate the story. But they weren't always the best. And think of this poor artist who had to draw a picture on this face of this lovely little girl, which in 1/10 of a second is going to get whacked. So it is, but everyone loves it. He then started to travel internationally, giving lectures in other centers. This is Ortolani's son from Italy, demonstrating the specimens that his father had gathered. But in doing this, he also brought his joy of life. And most international children's or orthopedic faculty are really a lot more fun than you think. They have places to go, they have farms, some have castles. They go to great restaurants and great food. This shows him with Alain de Meglio enjoying the food in the south of France. He would then invite them here, and they would come out to his lovely place, which we'll talk about in a second. And he loved to show his artifacts from the South Pacific and everything that he had gathered. He's a real collector of items, and he has many of them. They then developed this wonderful little vineyard out on their farm in Poway. And this shows him with his, of course, important contributions in life, which include his wife, Sandy, his son, Jason, standing there with him, and his second son, Josh, trimming grapes at this wonderful, wonderful place. And what a way to divert yourself. He was wise enough to not try to put cranberries in San Diego, since we don't have any water, but this really worked. He then became president of POSNA, the most important children's orthopedic society in the world. And it was related to his energy, his smile, his combination of practice, and important papers. He had the magic combination to put it all together. His wonderful personality always came out, both at work and also when you had hosts, had people out at his place. This was he at our house with Karen Noble, one of our employees. And Scott, I must mention, had one wife and only one secretary for 37 years. Susie, she's still here, she's still with us. This makes a huge difference. It's hard to train new people. The hospital was coming along with its leadership and activities, with Buzz Kaufman and others leading the show. And Buzz is here, so I have to mention him. They decided that they needed some of this orthopedic energy to come and help the hospital. So we already had a big team. We were producing research. We were doing what they wanted to, and not everyone was quite able to keep up. So they asked Scott if he would be chief of surgery. So several years ago, he was asked to be chief of surgery. This is chief of medicine, Dr. Haddad on the left, and Ernie Rady, who donated the money for this hospital. And this is named after him. He's a Canadian sort of billionaire who's helped us get on the map. We've had a very, very good program in children's orthopedics, which we're very proud of, and we have meetings like this, which was the 2016 meeting in Indianapolis, where all the fellows were gathered. It's really, really nice to see all the people and all the work they've done and the difference they've made in the world through some of the work that they've gathered here. So a lifelong friend and colleague. I want to thank Scott for being a wonderful partner. I was a little suspicious when I came. This guy's a Lebanese mover. You better check the books. No. He was the most honest, most straightforward, most trustworthy person you could imagine. So someone who's kind of happy-go-lucky, shaking everyone's hand, smiling at every party, but you sit down and he's a real person with tremendous Midwestern integrity and honesty. And I must say, I have never, ever had any difficulties. The only time we scrap are in these conferences, where we're just doing little debates with each other to amuse the trainees. So is he going to go home and put his feet up? And the answer is no. He is already a published author in a secret publishing company, which he started a few years ago. And I only became aware of this recently. This is his first publication in 2017 about a famous artist of the South Pacific who we learned about, C.J. Cook. Who is C.J. Cook? It's Captain James Cook. And this is the nom de plume, as the French would say, the pen name of Scott Mubarak. This little publishing company at the bottom, a new one. Scott will start a company in a moment's notice. No concern. Move on. If it doesn't work, start a new one. And so this is the story of Ralph Burke class boy from the Central Valley of California who was a natural, very good artist, drafted in the Marines, and went into World War II. And the Marines got him to do all their paintings for their bases, but then he started getting interested in the art of the South Pacific and became one of the best artists in the world for painting on French velvet. Some call it felt. And people felt paintings, you think it was just something you get a picture of on Elvis Presley when you go to Tijuana. But this is actually unbelievably brilliant art, and this book is about him and his life. But only Scott Mubarak can do this. He got to know the family. There were 7 children in this family. And they didn't even know their father was very famous, and the grandchildren didn't know. So he went and visited them in the Central Valley. This is C.J. Cook, meeting with the wife who is still living of that famous artist. And this wonderful book, which you can buy on Amazon. It's available to you now, and the second one has just come out. So he's not going to be putting his feet up. He's going to be busy, and we'll just sit back and see what happens. Thanks for everything, Scott.
Thank you, Dennis. Thanks for that beautiful summary. And what a nice parting shot. Next we have Dr. Chambers to introduce a video that has been put together, a compilation of tributes to you, Scott, from your colleagues, from former trainees to international colleagues to all sorts, and we'll hang it here.
So Scott, thanks for everything you've done for my career, and I had really terrible mentors. So I trained in San Antonio with Kay Wilkins, who's 87 and still working. I trained with Dr. Sutherland, who was still coming to Gate Lab at age 80. And you guys are still around, Scott, Dennis, and I'm ready to go. But anyways, thanks for everything. You have such a great legacy of training people. We have over 100 fellows, all the residents that have worked with you, and of course all your friends around the country, around the world. And so we got together, a bunch of us got together. We got a tribute for you, and this is the edited version. I'm going to give you the long one so you can watch it home. And so here we go.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Scott. Dr. Mubarak.
Hi, Dr. Mubarak.
Hey, Dr. Mubarak. Hello, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
Happy retirement, Dr. Mubarak.
Dr. Mubarak, happy retirement. It's finally here.
Congratulations, Dr. Mubarak, on entering the next phase of life.
We've known each other since 1982. That's when I got the children's tiny little hospital. You were the junior attending in orthopedics with Sutherland. I just want to say, if Sutherland could be alive today, he'd be really, really proud of all the things that you've done for not raising children.
I personally want you to know how much of an impact you've had on not only my career, but my life as well. I think the one thing that sets you apart from most people in the world, honestly, is your enthusiasm for every single thing you do.
What I appreciate most about you is letting us come back to your house and pick grapes early in the morning at 6 a.m. and harvest them with you and Sandy and the rest of the crew. It was always such a blast. We have great memories.
You have been so instrumental in developing pediatric orthopedic program here at UAD. First joining Dave Sutherland, bringing over Dennis Wenger and all the others.
He's built an orthopedic department on outstanding clinical care, residency and fellowship training programs, and research, all widely recognized as among the best in the world.
I really appreciate the opportunity to work with you on the exertion compartment syndrome studies. I think that was really valuable and valuable contribution to the knowledge base that we have.
What would Scott Mubarak do in this situation? How would he evaluate the problem and come up with a solution? And it's held me in good stead throughout the years. We really appreciate your coming as a visiting professor at the University
fund of knowledge, practical yet innovative approach to management, and compassion are really exemplary.
We've been personal and professional friends now for 30, 40 years. We've shared many mutual interests. Why? Captain James Cook, I don't understand that one. Wine, my goddess. Well, that's every year she becomes the world's greatest wine maker.
My daughter was adopting a baby from China, and he gave us some really good advice and looked at x-rays and looked at a medical history on a baby, and he really gave us his honest opinion that this wasn't the baby for her to adopt. Needless to say, she adopted another little baby from China, and Danny is now almost 15, and she's a very, very important part of our lives.
You led me into the residency as my chief president. I spent a year in your lab doing your projects with you. You led me onto the faculty after you. We shared a lot of things together.
I want to thank you for all the teaching and mentoring you did during my fellowship at San Diego 1998-99, and as a junior faculty member there from 2001 to 2005. You've had a great impact on my career.
Working there has truly changed my life, and learning so much from you has made me a better person, a better clinician, a better patient advocate, and I just want to thank you so much.
You have had a most amazing career, making contributions in so many ways, at so many levels.
I appreciate your expertise, particularly what respite injuries at this syndrome. Everything that you brought to us, both in paper and personal presentations, has been representative of superior work that you do in your patients. Share with us most discussion, listen to others.
We've had wonderful parallel careers, and every time we've gotten together, I've learned so much from you. It's been wonderful. You're one of the best hosts I've ever encountered. To do a visit out to San Diego and get to go to your place, stay overnight in the cabin by the lake, see turtles swimming in a pond named after all the orthopedic surgeons around. Llamas running across your property, and a vineyard to boot.
We've always treated everyone with compassion, consideration, kindness, and you've always been a voice of common sense.
You and your sidekick planted the seed and made Pete's Ortho so interesting, and there's no random reason why so many San Diego guys and gals have become pediatric orthopedicists.
Your contributions to the profession, both locally and nationally, not to mention internationally, have been fantastic. Your zoologic contributions to our little friend here, some great times we had at the zoo, memories I will cherish forever.
Scott, thanks for all your teaching over the years, from compartment syndrome to trauma to ultrasound in the hips to extremities. You have been an amazing contributor of knowledge.
I am so grateful for your friendship and for your mentorship over the years. All that you have taught me, from just the subtleties of how to run a recent practice to the nuances of caring for children and understanding their parents and their families.
Thank you for the contribution you made to my professional development, both in residency and fellowship. I'm very proud of the fact that you are my mentors.
I have followed your career and your teaching and your research with great interest. Your papers have helped me become a better surgeon. Your contributions to foot and ankle surgery in children, your papers on hip reconstruction and cerebral palsy have guided my practice and made a lasting impression on my care for children with these disorders.
Thank you for always being there for me and my family. You were there from the first time of my first child. I had our baby shower there. But most of all, I really appreciate how you always taught me
all needed to know. I was 2 years into my orthopedic residency in Toronto at that time. I just returned in 1976 from my 3-year stint on the Cameroon with the Canadian Armed Forces. Interestingly, 1978 was the same time, the same year that George Thompson and I got to know each other.
I want to thank you for showing us all how to do a career well done.
It was fun to watch you lead the organization, and at the end of my time, you asked me what I thought about the experience. It really spent a lot of time with me, and that really meant a lot to me in the early part of my career, and gave a little bit of input that I thought that junior member of the club should be more than a year, and you took that on and ran with it, and so I really appreciated that.
It's been a great run. Been a mentor, a friend, unbelievable colleague. Contributed so much to pediatric orthopedics in so many ways.
Your career has been magnificent, and as evidenced by the positive effect you've had on so many people.
There's been quite an evolution and a revolution in how pediatric care is delivered at Rady Children's and the university. Throughout this evolution, it's incredible to think about how much Scott has appreciated for all he has done for the group.
Certainly have enjoyed a prolific, distinguished, and long career that serves countless children throughout the world.
We're so happy for you, proud of you, and happy for your next adventure through you and Sandy.
Yes, Scott, we really Michelle, you've done both personally and professionally. It's great life, by the way, in case you didn't Phoenix now.
I'm Chris Beckman. I was just reflecting on how fortunate I've been on having a mentor, teachers such as yourself. Earlier today, actually, the kids were really congregated, and it necessitated being able to get in. I can appreciate hearing your voice in my head talk. It's absolutely safe.
I remember when I finished fellowship, he told me that fellowship was really a 5-year program. I think that it's more like a 20-year program, and if I still have questions or concerns or issues, I know that you're always available for discussion and for more teaching.
You have literally been doing pediatric orthopedics longer than I am in life. Across the world, I've learned so much from you.
Thank you for all the years of education that you've done. And I still remember interviewing with you over your service approach. Your left us the education of our residents, for sure. We're always there at our parties, putting us on our post-ops, plans for next surgery, et cetera. So it's a great year. That's all.
Hold educators to the highest standard. You demand excellence at every turn, every corner, in the operating room, patient care, and in the clinic.
Thank you for the endless referrals. I have several of the papers that I pulled hanging up in my office, and I pass along those referrals on to our residents.
I actually hear your voice in my head occasionally when I'm seeing new patients, and I have found and treated multiple things that, perhaps I wouldn't have been able to pick up beforehand.
We were pleased that was just the contributions you made to education around the world and the research, and particularly for setting up one of the best orthopedic training programs in America.
I really enjoyed the way that he spent time with his fellows and residents, and we went through everything that he's heard and discussed his ideas, and he shared his enormous immense knowledge.
There's so many things I appreciate about Dr. Scott Mubarak, but definitely one of them is the dedication for research, the founding research for the surgery department, every programs. This was terrific.
Many of your wise words still echo in my mind. A few of them, which I hope you'll remember. One, that a great baseball player only needs to get a hit fewer than 4 out of 10 times at bat, but we need to bat 1,000. Also, that your fellowship will continue for at least 5 years beyond your fellowship.
What I appreciate most about Dr. Mubarak is his commitment to teaching. He never misses an opportunity to tell a patient's story, show an exam, or share an article.
even if it happens to be his own.
I think that's a testament contribute to both yourself and Dr. Wenger and the rest of the group and your vision of what kind of program to create will help develop future pediatric orthopedists going forward.
The impact you made in terms of creating this academic environment, really kind of promoting that within our practice. You made me who I am and have been a great mentor.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be one of your mentees. When I look back at my time in San Diego, I think what I really appreciated about you most was your indefatigable zeal to teach. And you always came every day with an energy level that was quite honestly hard to keep up with.
It definitely impacted me as a fellow, especially in the arena of management of foot and ankle conditions in kids. I miss a lot the morning reports and energy that you brought.
First of all, for building such a powerhouse program for Asians, allowing me to come and train at 2011, 2012 were one of the most formative years of my career.
Because truly, your thirst for educating, your thirst for making sure that we didn't kind of know what we were talking about, but that we truly had an in-depth understanding.
Let's not Madison's parents on it together. But it feels like yesterday when Becky made up the very team and worked alongside each other. We worked hard and saw lots of patients. But you created an atmosphere that was fun. And I love your teachings are really evident.
Your dedication to your patients and your role as an educator are unmatched. As I move on in my career, I'm reminded daily of a lesson or a pearl that I learned from your lady.
I did bring up your emphasis in my career. I remember, like you, we had 2014 was the Youth Association meeting.
Thank you for teaching all of the generations of fellows various aspects of children, pediatrics and values, CT, and CT.
Thank you for coming to the pediatric orthopedics training night today. Really appreciate all the work in the whole team. Really frankly, it's a privilege to be able to operate with you. Thank you so much for
Very grateful for my time in San Diego and my year with you, and I've always admired your unwavering commitment to education.
I really sincerely appreciate everything that you did for me personally, as well as for everyone whose lives you've touched over the past 40+ years.
I still remember starting fellowship and you advising us to incorporate every homework we were really careful so we have a cookbook for the future. I relied heavily on the cookbook as I started practice and I still go back to it.
I'll tell you what, I want to thank you for the work you've done on me and the whole stuff. Pediatric research is everywhere here in North America, across the globe.
It's going to be difficult to find anybody that can rock a bolo tie or mustache like you. Aside from that, your teaching style, everything that you brought to our field, your career has been inspirational.
I hope you enjoy this new chapter with your family. Thank you for a great learning experience during my fellowship at San Diego.
I definitely use the same questions in clinic and the homework that you used to put me on when I was a medical student. And I think Eric Edmonds is probably the most likely to start wearing a bolo tie. There's dedication to teaching. You're an outstanding surgeon, you're an outstanding researcher. But I think most importantly, you're just an unbelievable educator. You've educated so many residents and fellows and done such an outstanding job at that. And I will never forget your mentorship and teaching of me over children back in my time.
When I think of Dr. Mubarak, I mainly think of his boundless energy, his endless curiosity, and his excitement about orthopedics. I think about the admonition he gave me as a graduating fellow to do research and publish.
I want to thank you. You started off my fellowship here and really put me on the right track to becoming the surgeon that I am.
The lessons I learned, I still in practice today. One of the lessons was the scientific research, Dr. Mubarak, that did my first research day. They taught me some wonderful pearls that I use and continue to teach my students and residents in my life.
I particularly learned
of you. And to this day, remember how kind those little ones that you examined them. So, humility, interest, a zest for life and for your profession.
Thank you for your amazing contributions to pediatric orthopedics, our field, your institution, a great teacher, a great mentor. Thanks for everything. Have a wonderful retirement.
Congratulations on a very successful career. You made many people so much better, and it's just been an honor to know you. Welcome to the world of retirement. I hope you must love it as much as I do as you get into it.
Congratulations, and I hope you enjoy your well deserved retirement.
Thanks, Scott.
Happy retirement.
And I wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, thank you.
Congratulations, thanks a lot.
And best wishes from one of us to you as you retire.
Thank you. I'm grateful that your legacy carries on in me and all your other trainees.
If you could get from time to time and say hi, I think that would be wonderful. Truly, truly indebted to you.
Wish you lots of happiness and good health and retirement. Hope you keep in touch. Take care, Scott.
Congratulations. Best wishes from Melbourne, Australia. Bye, Scott. I wish you all the best.
Take care and good luck.
For season. God bless you.
Thank you very much for everything you've done for me.
I wish you the best. I really hope we get to see you again in the future.
I'm really excited for you. So thanks, Dr. Mubarak, for all you've done.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Okay, Scott, I hope you see the reach that you've had for your trainees and for your colleagues around the world, and for those that weren't even born when you started. It's amazing to see that sequence of folks, and the most sincere gratitude for your efforts in teaching them and changing our hospital and changing our orthopedic worldwide community, really.
I'm Rian.
There you go. There we got Doris.
Okay. I would like to wish my 5-star fellow the absolute best in retirement. And I'd like to say that I'm extremely proud of all of his accomplishments. We've been friends ever since 1976. And I'm 88, but I expect that friendship to continue for a long time. Congratulations, Scott, and enjoy your retirement.
Thank you, Norris.
And give my best to Sandy as well.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you, Norris.
Well, thank you, everybody. Online, all these people and lists, notes, and amount of work to get all that put together. So thank you, first of all, to my partners who were the main people putting this on, Hank and Peter and Dennis. Baxter Willis said, my biggest legacy is to pick good people to be with me, and we sure have done that. And so thank you, because we got a great team, and it makes me look good, and you find people that are brighter and better than you to hire, because it helps the whole program. So you guys really put on the show, and everybody online who came on board and said all those things, and then everybody, JD, who put this all together. So I want to thank my whole team of a dozen, Bert, who left a few months before I did. I want to thank our NPs and PAs who have been with us for a long time, probably one of the first in the country. They're a great team, headed by Lynn Darnell. I want to particularly thank my right-hand people that worked with me, Jen Forbes, who you saw online, Katie Fields, Bill Stearns, Emily Petty, Sonny Park, Natalie McNeil, who's been our radiology tech almost, I think, even before Dennis was here, I think. So she's been here a long time and helped us do all the ultrasound stuff. My current team of Martha and Jamie, and my orthotechs, Steve and Chad, Katie and Sarah, well, as scribes, and my mom, Becky. She's an orthotech, but I call her mom and she calls that. Dave Pyatt, our real leader behind the scenes. Prior partners, Judy Leach, Joan Morgan, Penny Boston, who ran the show here. My OR people who came on board here with this wonderful gift. Of Courtney, Joanna, Francis, Sheila, Heidi, Emery, Norma, now retired. And finally, my family. I'm a bride of 52 years, Sandy, who you saw, who does so much behind the scenes to have us have a good lifestyle, particularly now with the ranch from llamas to vineyard. My sons, Jason, Josh, and their wives, and my 5 beautiful granddaughters that they produce. So thank you all. So with that, I got to get this talked out. First of all, I brought my scissors here tonight. This is not a bolo. This is a pendant from the South Pacific, black coral from Maui.
All right, great. Elaine DiMeglio, you got a shot next if you want to take a crack at the cutoff time, man.
Well, thank you for your contribution to the development of pediatric orthopedic. Captain Cook, who will never retire. He will continue to move, will continue to ride, and continue to travel. Welcome in France. Scott, best regards to your wife.
Thank you, Elaine. Beautiful. I think we'll close it out there. Scott, congratulations. Enjoy the day. We are back at noon to do a bigger open celebration in this room for all the folks at the hospital to actually come shake Scott's hand and share a little bit of lunch.